Real. All right then. Good morning, beloveds. It's in the 60s out there. Apparently, there's rumors that it may be in the 40s on Wednesday. So apparently we're not going to get a fall. We're going to go straight from summer to winter. I'm not unhappy about that. But I just, my house is still 74 degrees. I miss my trees. Insurance company made me take 3 trees down, and they shaded my house pretty nicely. So, it's also been hot and dry, so that's not helping either. So I'm just waiting on the weather to drop enough that the temperature in my house will drop. I would love it to be 70 degrees in the house. All right. So we are here to do your spiritual power. Let's do the housekeeping. Housekeeping is just me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact, email, info@creativelife.org. You email that, you get 1 email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot. There is, it'll take you right to the information of the person that can help you get it. And it is a blind CC, which means nobody will see your email. You won't get emails from anybody, you won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. And when I say 1 email a week, that's what I mean. Unless something unusual happens, it's a real person doing it. He just doesn't have time for more than that. Now, we had a really bad storm come in on Saturday. Had the power still been out on Sunday, you would have gotten an email. Fortunately, most of us got our power back fairly early. It went out at 3 a.m. Ours was back on before 10, just before 10. So, but I got ready to go to the Renaissance Festival in the dark, which was fun. These, God sent, because they are, what you do is you can charge them with a USB, and they are very bright. I have 2 of them, and they're light, so you can just carry them around. So, I just carry. We had 1 in the living room, and then 1 in the kitchen, and I would just carry one of them around wherever I needed it. Tom was using a flashlight, and I'm like, this is easier because I can just set it down. So, yeah. Okay. And then let me do the social media just briefly, because we do not monetize the social media. That means we don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we don't give them money. We don't ask you to give us money through them. So what we ask you to do instead is go like, subscribe, follow the pages based on what platform you're on, which terminology they use. And then engage with the individual posts. So react to the post, comment on the post, share the posts. It is a free and easy way that you can support the center, because the more people who interact with our posts and, like and follow the page, then the algorithms go, oh, people like this. More people should see it. Okay. All right. Now, your spiritual power is an inspirational collection. Right. It's a collection of some of Ernest Holmes' works that are kind of rare and may not be anywhere else. We are currently doing your Discover a Richer Life, which turns out is a collection of articles from the Science of Mind magazine. So a couple of people, and Jesse mentioned them in a class that I'm his teaching assistant for. Jesse mentioned them, and I'm like, okay, hey, this is cool. What they did was they got together. It was somebody who was Science of Mind in the Science of Mind organization, and a publisher got together and collected stuff and published it. The stuff that might not be anywhere else. And I think that's just really cool because he's got some amazing stuff. So we are currently doing Discover a Richer Life. And today we are going to do Science of Mind, Something to Live By. Let me get my trusty highlighter up, because, then when I'm skimming back through the books looking for something, I can go, oh, that was a really important thing. What was that about? Although I will remind you that Reverend Norm says always take things in context. So when you read a Bible quote, go read a few lines before and a few lines after the quote, so that you know what the quote means. Because when we take things out of context, they don't necessarily mean what we think that they mean. So, I learned many really good lessons from Reverend Norm, and that's one of my favorites. The other one is, well, there's 2 more. The other one is that we do not call the Hebrew Testament the Old Testament because it's rude. It's disrespectful. And what was the other? Oh, well, I think this may have come from Reverend Norm, but I may have heard it from more than one teacher, that the Bible is not a book, but a library of books. It's a collection of books. Kind of like this. This is a library. All right. Just a small one. Just a small one. All right. Science of mind, something to live by. On the basis of our definition of philosophy, religion, and science, a science of mind becomes a definite study firmly founded on our knowledge and our highest ideals and their relationship to the great reality or God. It has been said that thought is the activity, not the essence of the soul. The science of psychology and psychiatry, deal largely with mental and emotional action and reaction more than with the essence. On the other hand, science of mind attempts to penetrate more deeply into the essence of the spirit within humanity. Its theoretical principle is that the real essence of humanity's mind and life is pure spirit. Okay. Well, that's kind of an important point. Hence, of necessity, science of mind must teach spiritual concepts and at the same time should include in such teachings the highest and most advanced thought that can be gathered from all sources. Now, when I was in ministerial school, they taught us all kinds of classes. Yes, we had financial classes. Yes, we had Bible classes. Yes, we had religion classes. But they also taught us basic psychology classes. They taught us, quantum physics. That's what I was looking for. So we got, basic science, basic quantum physics classes. We got psychology classes in there. They were like, if you're going to do science of mind, you have to have a footing in all of these because we use them all. Okay? They taught us philosophy and quantum physics and psychology. Now they taught us spiritual psychology, so it's a little different, but they taught us all of that in ministerial school. All right. So we have held to this all sources. Science of mind is a systematic study of the creativity of the mind of humanity with its conscious and unconscious activities and the nature of the spirit which has created and animated and sustained humanity. Mental facts and spiritual experiences are just as real as sunsets and raindrops. One of the highest, most interesting and illuminating pursuits to which one can give their attention is a consideration of the right relationship between the complex reactions of the mind to its external environment and its subtle reactions to life itself, spirit, the great reality, or God. We do not think of humanity's spirit and mind as confined within the body, but of the body as being included within and sustained by the mind and spirit, and of body, mind, and spirit as being permeated or one with the higher and finer essence, which is pure spirit, God. Okay? That's one of the things that they've been trying to locate where consciousness lives, and they can't figure it out because consciousness is more than the body. In the end, that's what we are. Consciousness. This is a vehicle that carries our consciousness around and allows us to interact with the material world. But that is from another source. Let's get back to this one. A correct adjustment of one's thoughts in its conscious and subjective reactions to that reality fundamental to all religion tends to produce a state of trust, of subjective harmony, of inner assurance. The physical effects of such mental adjustment is healing, for healing in its broadest and most permanent sense means harmonious action. Thought, which is continuously torn and distracted, uncertain, despondent, or morbid, fearful, timid, and apprehensive produce such inner disquiet that there is a physical corresponding resulting in irritation, inflammation, and malfunction. And according to the testimony of our most able psychologists, psychiatrists, and doctors, may produce definite and extreme physical disabilities. This being true, they feel that a large percentage of our physical diseases would automatically disappear provided one's thoughts were properly adjusted in harmony with the environment. All right. Do not get onto that spiritual bypass and blame yourself for your physical disabilities. However, that being said, there is good research showing, and here's the kicker. When we are in our right mind, we make better choices and cooperate with our body better. When we are not in our right mind, then we make poor choices that do not work with our body, and thus the conditions that we might be prone to already are going to be worse. Magnesium is very low in the American diet. If you are deficient in magnesium, it makes any condition you might have worse. So if you are making good choices, then you are making sure that you are getting enough magnesium, which then means that anything you might already have is not as bad because the magnesium is supporting the body. That is what I'm talking about here. So don't get that spiritual bypass of, just because I've had a negative thought, that's what's caused my problems. Okay? It's far more complicated than that. But it all works together. It's all one whole unit, and we have our parts to play. Since religious emotion is, and 99% of our problems do start with inflammation. So, yeah. Okay. Since religious emotion culminating in a faith in God constitutes one of our dominant motives, it follows that a spiritually oriented consciousness tends towards a physical healing. Thus, it is necessary, or if not necessary, at least wise, to build up a true religious sentiment, high ideals, and a faith and confidence in the integrity of the universe. With our present knowledge of mental actions and reactions, and with the techniques already evolved by other sciences, we have at our hands means and methods by which we may definitely neutralize wrong mental reactions and place in their stead right ideas, such as hope, trust, faith, a belief in goodness, in love, and in reason, all of which create a confidence in life. Okay. Such confidence includes a faith in oneself and is sustained through a belief that the self is some part of the great universal reality which sustains all through the power of its own self-existent being. What? A trust in God is no mere idle myth, nor can we consider such trust a superstitious reaction to life. The greatest people who have ever lived have placed their confidence in this invisible presence and have walked serenely through life, freed from fears which assail and hamper the average person. We cannot doubt the reality of such experiences. If countless numbers of people have been sustained through a calm confidence and an implicit trust in divine intelligence, then we must accept their experiences as being valid, analyze their actions and reactions to life, and using such affirmative facts, we may discover, build upon them, and the highest and most sublime hope which has ever penetrated the consciousness of humanity. What we must avoid, however, is the confusion which arises from a belief in final revelations. from the belief that all truth is at last discovered, or that some one person or some one system of thought has delivered the last word. Interesting. That's one of the reasons why Ernest talks about us being open at the top. He said, I don't have all the answers. I don't even have all the questions. New answers will come up, new questions will come up, new answers will be found. We are open at the top. Basically, we believe that everybody has some of the truth, nobody has all of it, and that we would do better if we would talk to each other. That's one of the reasons why Science of Mind is big on interfaith. That we just find everybody else interesting too. So there are no finalities in any science, any philosophy, or any religion. Through the continual emergence of the creative principle, any last finality proves to be but the beginning of a new creative series. This eternal spiral, finding its base in the everlasting reality, will never cease to emerge. Science of Mind will never be a closed book, but will continue to gather spiritual truth from every source and every person's experience, and combining them, we'll discover that the result is an ever-increasing revelation of the nature of the spiritual universe in which we live. Nor can we believe that any religious ideal or philosophical concept is valid if it denies the smallest fact ascertained in science. Truth will never contradict fact, but will include it. Ooh, that's a good quote. Truth will never contradict fact, but will include it. Hence, the religious or philosophical aspect of Science of Mind must not deny, but include the findings of science through the realization that these three great branches of human knowledge, these three highways to the one source of all things, are partners serving as guides in the endeavor to gain truth. Knowledge alone gives freedom. Our increased awareness of spiritual truths will make each day a fresh beginning, a new approach to reality, a spiritual adventure emerging afresh and new from the original creative principle active within us. A spiritual adventure emerging fresh and new. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we are done with part 1. That is it. Ooh, and I need to wrap this up. We are going to, tomorrow we will start on part 2, which is practical prayer. That'll look a little different. So, we'll figure that out as we get through it. But we'll start that tomorrow. So now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of yourself day. Let's get this week started off right day. Let's enjoy the cooler weather day. We are grateful for the rain that we've had. We wouldn't mind a little bit more, but we don't need the wind and the lightning and the thunder and the power outs. We don't need any of that. We can just have some more rain and cooler weather. Yay. A cuddle your fur babies day, a tell somebody you love them day, a you got this day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, even on a Monday, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. Your spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a beautiful and brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. So, explore the truth of your own being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.